Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Coming to Resolution. I might ruffle some feathers today, um, because this is a topic I've been thinking about for a while, and it's just kind of frustrating. Okay, um, so we're gonna talk about how Gen Z sucks. Okay, because Gen Z people my age are. Let me preface: people my age grew up with Xbox 360 lobbies, school bullies, and people who roasted you relentlessly. And it didn't matter if you got offended. It was mostly in good fun, unless you were getting bullied. That's a totally different topic. But this is how most of us got thick skin. We didn't decide that we were going to play the victim and everything was going to hurt our feelings. No, we got clever and snapped back at people with our own rebuttals. Like especially in the Xbox 360 lobbies, you just get made fun of harder if you decided your feelings were going to hurt that day. We didn't get the luxury of being hurt by anything and everything. But it seems to me that most of the Gen Z people on the internet are getting offended by absolutely everything. They pick and choose what to be offended by and how this affects them. And what really pisses me off is people are getting offended for other people. Like has nothing to do with them, but they're choosing to be offended for other people. It's not your business. It's not my business. You know, like we get involved in things and we decide we're going to devote ourselves to causes that have absolutely fucking nothing to do with us. That doesn't make sense to me. When we were growing up, all we were concerned about was, at least all I was concerned about, was making it through the fucking day. Because even as a young kid, I didn't want to be here, but I'm still here. Like I got roasted by my friends. I got bullied at school, and until I got clever and started using my hands whenever the time arose. Like this was not. I didn't get the luxury of let's get offended by whatever. Whatever it was going to be. I still don't get offended. I don't get offended by much. The only time I'm going to get offended is if you disrespect me or someone I'm close to. That's when I that's whenever I have to say something. Is whenever it's someone that I'm close to, especially if they're not the kind of person who is used to or really can defend themselves. Like that's what I do. But people who can speak for themselves, I'm going to leave it to them to do it because that's our job. Our our job is to protect ourselves because at the end of the day, how is someone going to protect us at all hours of the day, all times of the day? It's not going to happen. You had to learn how to protect yourself, whether that be emotionally or not. Like you got fucking clever, you got thick skin, you didn't let things affect you. Now I'm 25 and I hardly anything offends me. You could say some of the most outrageous shit to me, and if I know you're joking, I don't really care. You know, if it's something, especially if it has to do with comedy, I'm such a big fan of comedy and making people laugh. I don't really give a fuck what you joke about because most of the time it's funny. If it's just not funny, I won't laugh. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be offended by it. You know, move on. I don't understand where we went wrong here because and I know it's wrong because there's absolutely no point in being offended by certain things that people on the internet seem to be offended by, and it is mostly people that are around my age who are offended by anything and everything. They choose to be offended by this and join a cause that has nothing to do with them, and they put shit in their bios that doesn't mean anything to them, doesn't affect them in any kind of way. But here we are fighting for things that either don't matter or they don't affect us. you know, have absolutely nothing to do with us. I understand having opinions and, you know, this shouldn't be happening. Yeah, most of the things out there right now shouldn't be happening. Out in the world right now shouldn't be happening, but it's happening. But what I'm concerned about is what's happening around me. I don't care what's happening over yonder way across the pond or across the other pond. I don't care. That doesn't affect me. What affects me is what we do. You know, like as the American population, that's what we do, and what the government decides we're going to do. That affects us. Yeah, but it has that. If it doesn't have anything to do with us, why do we care? We have problems of our own that we still need to solve. We're in so much fucking debt as a nation because the government just keeps printing out money at the click of a button, like it grows on trees. And not only that, but we're facing social issues with people being offended by anything and everything and picking up on causes that have nothing to do with them. And we're promoting stupidity. That's not just Gen Z, however, that is just all across everywhere. We're promoting stupidity. If it's for like entertainment, you know, like a streamer or some stupid ass show or a movie or whatever, sure, I could see that. But considering that we were promoting stupidity in real life, it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I thought we were smarter than this growing up, but apparently we're not. We're just as dumb as the generation before us and the generation before them. Our job, I feel like, is to be smarter and better than the generation before us, but we seem to be devolving. We are not evolving. We are becoming stupider, and stupider is a word now. Fuck you. Um, we're becoming stupider, and and we're letting things get to us that shouldn't even be getting it to us in the first place. You know, like if there's some blatant disrespect going on around you, that makes sense to get upset by it. But if it has nothing to do with you, why the fuck do you care? If it isn't affecting your life, why the fuck do you care? If there's somebody getting hurt around you, yeah, do something about it. Call the cops. Jump in there. If you're if you're trained to do this, then yeah, jump in there. Deal with the problem. Call the cops regardless. You know, if it's a situation where you just have the don't give a fuck attitude, but your friend who's getting fucked with, bullied, whatever, doesn't. They're very like reserved, I guess. I don't know what the right word is for that. But they just don't stand up for themselves. They have a low sense of self-worth or self-esteem or whatever. Yeah, that makes sense. But we're out here talking about wars that have nothing to do with us. And I understand the war kind of sucks. It's a very shitty situation. I understand. It has nothing to do with us. It there are plenty of things going on in the world that we don't need to get involved in because we have plenty of issues on our fucking own, on our own land, in our own communities, in our own government, even. We have our own fucking problems. Let's deal with those. We're supposed to be the ones who rule the government, but we don't seem to do that. It doesn't seem to matter to them. As long as the government's getting paid, they don't give a fuck what we think. That's backwards. It's not how it's supposed to be. But we're not concerned with that. We're concerned with things that are happening, not even in our own fucking country, and getting offended by shit that has nothing to do with us. Or people are getting offended by things taken out of context. This is my favorite thing. I will see something taken out of context, and I know it's taken out of context because the clip's been cut in a weird way, or it was just a certain little quote from a longer sentence, you know, and people are taking that little bit out of context and choosing to be offended. And then cancel culture comes along and we're canceling any and everybody for dumb shit. certain things, yeah, we should probably like shun some people for certain things. But for anything and everything, just because it hurts your feelings, I don't think that should fucking matter. Grow some thick skin. It's not like everything has to hurt your feelings. Your feelings objectively don't fucking matter. Same goes for me. My feelings objectively don't fucking matter. Your feelings matter to you and maybe those who are close to you, and that's it. Your feelings don't affect somebody across the state from you. I'm going to narrow that down, across the city from you, let alone the whole internet. No one gives a fuck. No one logical with any common sense gives a fuck about how you feel. Same goes for me. You think I put my feelings on the internet for those to just see? No, I hardly put my thoughts on the internet, let alone at least in posts, like in Twitter, Facebook. This is pretty much thoughts and experience that I have. This whole thing that we're doing, this is thoughts and experience that I have. I've lived through. I've done the mistake. I know the right way to do things now. If I don't know, someone else does, and I got advice from them. But I don't just go putting my feelings on the internet because no one gives a shit. People have their own fucking problems. But we're gonna do the equivalent of standing on a rock and trying to gather a crowd around us just so we can make someone else feel bad for how they made you feel. Let me rephrase that. For how you chose to feel about something. How you chose to feel about something. It could be a joke. One of my favorite comedians, because he gives zero fucks and I love it, is Matt Rife. That man, he's not like the funniest to me. He's funny, but he's not like the funniest. But I love that he doesn't give a fuck. The man's about my age, and he gives zero fucks. He doesn't care about your feelings. He's out there doing comedy. People get offended by comedy these days. These jokes are outdated. These jokes didn't age well. Who gives a fuck? They're jokes. If they're funny to somebody, they're funny to somebody. If they're not funny to you, that's fine. Comedy is subjective. Other people will find different things funny. That's all it comes down to. Your feelings are subjective. Your opinions are subjective. Objectively, that doesn't fucking matter. My opinions don't affect the people who have different opinions than me. My feelings don't affect other people. They're my feelings. It is a subjective experience. So what are we doing out here? I mean, I'm thankfully it seems to be mostly over this cancel culture bullshit, but why were we even out here doing it to begin with? And we're still choosing to be offended for other people for things that have nothing to do with us. Like, people can stand for themselves, people can speak for themselves, but we're choosing to be offended for other people when it has nothing to do with us. You know what I mean? Like, what I normally, on a day-to-day basis, live my life mostly to myself. I will talk to people over like social media, phone number, whatever, or I'll sit in Discord with my friends. Otherwise, I am by myself and I'm perfectly fine with it. Whatever is going on in my brain is for me to deal with. That's not for you guys. That's not for the internet. That's not for whoever. That is for me to deal with. If I need an opinion, if I need somebody's experience with this subject, I will ask for it. That's rare though. I don't normally go ask because generally I know what I need to do. I've spent most of my life, and I know that most people weren't raised the same way that I was because I kind of had to live like this, but I have spent most of my life finding the solution for myself, regardless of what the situation was. If I had to study harder, yeah, I got some help from my parents, sure, but if it was like a brain situation where I was just depressed or fucking angry at the world or whatever the case was. I had to deal with that. And yeah, I went to therapy for a few years. It didn't fucking help me. So I dealt with it myself. I dealt with my anger issues. Anger issues. I put that in quotes because anger's a masking emotion. I've said that before. But I've dealt with that stuff. I've dealt with my depression on my own. I have talked to some people, yes. I have gotten advice from people who have the experience to deal with this stuff. Absolutely. But that I generally find the solution for myself. I've always been a think for myself kind of person, and I feel like most of the people who I grew up with were too. Most of the people around me knew how to think for themselves because that's what we were raised to do. We had to find the solution to things in order to solve a problem. We had to do it ourselves. We didn't get on the internet bitching and crying about my feelings are hurt because somebody said this and it made me feel this way. You chose to feel that way. You are choosing to have the experience that you're having right now. And I understand there are a lot of situations in the world that really fucking suck. I get it. They're fucked up. I'm not saying it's right. What I am saying is wrong is the fact that we're out here involving ourselves in things that we not only can we not do anything about, but it has nothing to do with us. If it's a situation that you can't fucking do anything about it, why are you worried about it? Why are you concerning yourself with things that you have absolutely no hand to play? Why? Because of this, I've come to the conclusion that most of Gen Z fucking sucks. There's a lot of good ones out there. Don't get me wrong. I've met a lot of people my age, and even some people younger, who know how to think for themselves. They don't get offended by every little thing. They get offended by people who disrespect them individually. It is not any kind of bullshit we come up with to be offended. I don't understand where this thought process even came from. Where is it getting us? It's not getting us any fucking where. I'll tell you right now, it's not getting us anywhere. The only thing that does for us is make our day worse because we're stressing about shit that we not only can we not do anything about, but it has nothing to do with us. Or we're getting offended for other people that can stand up for themselves and they can solve their own fucking problems. Most adults can speak for themselves, especially on the internet. There's no fucking consequences there. You say whatever the fuck you want behind a keyboard. Shit, people do it right now. People are probably talking shit to somebody on a post right now. Do you think that person who made the post is going to spend their whole day thinking about it? Probably the fuck not. Yeah, it might suck for a few minutes, but they're not going to spend their whole fucking day on it. Nobody with any kind of common sense does that. I feel like we've lost the meaning to common sense and we're choosing to be offended by things that make no fucking sense. It doesn't have to do with you and there's nothing you can do about it. Why the fuck do you care? There's always going to be negative behavior on the internet. There's always going to be fucked up shit happening. If it has nothing to do with you and you can't do anything about it, why are you concerned? You should be concerned about the things that you can do something about that involve your life or maybe the people around you. If it doesn't have anything to do with you, who fucking cares? It's not difficult to live life in a kind of selfish way. There is a difference between being selfish and narcissistic. Don't fucking get it twisted. Narcissism takes a diagnosis, being selfish doesn't. Sometimes being selfish is fucking okay. I would honestly encourage people to be selfish because we give too much to other people and companies that we work for and all this other bullshit, right? I encourage you to be selfish. Take care of your own fucking problems. Deal with that stuff first before you choose to go get offended by things and try to do something about things you can't do anything about. Especially if it has nothing to do with this country. If you're in another country, if you are getting affected by things that your country is doing, that's what you should be concerned about. If you are getting affected by things that the people around you are doing, that's what you should be concerned about. You should not be concerned with this fucked up situation over here, this fucked up situation over here, or that fucked up situation over there. For the simple fact that, yeah, it's fucked up. Yes, it sucks. I understand. I'm not saying it's right. We have other things that are currently affecting us as a population in America and in other countries. There are things that are affecting them. We need to deal with our problems in front of us first before we can jump on to anything else and try to do something about anything else. Because if we don't take care of the problems here, what the fuck are we going to do for anything else? Any other kind of bullshit cause you want to come up with, what the fuck are we going to do if we can't even take care of ourselves? Does that make sense to you? To go and do something about things, attempt to do things, something about things that we can't do anything about? To me, that sounds like a lost cause. If there is not something I can do about another situation over yonder way, I'm not going to worry about it. It's not affecting me. If it is something in front of me that is affecting me right now, that is the problem that I need to address. Does that make sense? Are we going to grow some fucking skin? Grow some thick skin. There are things that are affecting the people of the internet that shouldn't have anything to do with us. If it has something to do with you, I get it. You want to spread awareness? Sure. Okay, that makes sense. But also, there are things that we need to address at home. There are things that you need to address in your own life. There are things that you can put that energy towards that do have to do with you. Half of us, this may be a little exaggerated, most people that I hear about in my age group, and this is why we have such a fucking bad name, is we get offended by everything because we're so sensitive and we have no work ethic. I wasn't raised that way. I couldn't. And I'm kind of glad that I couldn't, because I have a work ethic that will sustain me for years to come. But there are people out here who are just expecting the world to give them whatever, or the government or taxpayers, whatever, to give them whatever the fuck they want, where they can just do the same thing that the average person does and maybe even have a better result. We all go to work on a day-to-day basis. It's not like I get to sit here and just do this. I work a day job. I do this as a passion project because I feel like we're so fucking lost as a society. And if I can speak to one of you, maybe you can speak to someone else, and so on and so forth. But what's really grabbing my attention lately is the fact that people my age, and I've said this for years now, are getting offended by things that have nothing to do with us. We are getting concerned with things that we can't do anything about. That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me to worry about A, B, or Z when we need to worry about C, D, and E. You know? It doesn't make any fucking sense. I feel like we've lost logic in our thought process, because it just seems to me that we're picking and choosing things to get upset about and to involve ourselves in things that have nothing to do with us. Again, I understand that there are a lot of fucked up situations out in the world as a whole. I understand. Shit sucks. Shit sucks at home right now. For everybody. It's not just America. There's fucked up shit going on everywhere. Just about everywhere. They will solve that problem. We need to solve our own problem. In our lives, in our homes, in our own government structure, We need to solve that problem. We need to worry about us. Let's be selfish. Okay? That's all I have for that one. Gen Z sucks. If you can prove to me otherwise, you won't. Then great. I normally don't get along with people around my age. It's very rare that I get along with people my age or younger. Generally, it's people older than me that I get along with the best because I have a little something called common sense, and I'm not an asshole. You're gonna think I'm an asshole, and that's fine. I don't really give a fuck. Your feelings are subjective, my feelings are subjective. Doesn't fucking matter. We need to worry about the objective cause. That's better for all of us. Okay? We can't do this no logic bullshit anymore. It's not taking us anywhere. If anything, it's just breaking us down as a society and devolving us into what I think is going to be a bunch of fucking stupid people out here doing stupid shit because they said one stupid time that they can do this shit and people decided, yeah, I guess. No, don't fucking stop promoting stupid behavior. There is absolutely no reason to involve ourselves or promote stupid behavior. It's okay to call your friends stupid when they're being fucking stupid. I do it all the time. All the time. Hey, that's kind of dumb. Maybe you shouldn't do that. My friends don't get offended. Because if I say something's dumb, it's probably really fucking dumb. I say a lot of dumb shit. I used to do a lot of dumb shit. I kind of know what dumb shit looks like. Maybe we evolve as a society as we get older and stop doing dumb shit. All right. That's all I have for that one today. I will see you guys tomorrow.